Hi everyone, it's Annalisa Smola, Creative Content Manager here at Creative Memories Home Office. I'm so excited to be here again for Album Kit Club Week 7. We're working on layout 12 and 13. We are headed towards the finish line with our albums. I'm so excited to say that this is complete in just a few short weeks. The other thing I wanted to remind you about is that we have custom spines back on our website. You can now get on our website and create your custom spine for your album kit that you are working on. I'm so excited that I'm able to customize mine now, and it is going to look great on my shelf. So let's get scrapping. Okay, so let's start on layout 12 here. So we're gonna get started on this one. Nothing super crazy about this one, although the border stickers for the layout are pre-cut, so you don't have to do any cutting for those stickers, which is great. So I'm gonna get started with the cutting guide, and we'll cut down right this way. And there we have that. And then on this side, go right here. Now those look pretty good, except I got a little bit of the excess there. So I kind of did that. I don't know if anyone on here knows it. Some of you probably do, but when you feel like you're starting to get a rough cut here, you know that it is time to switch over to the next one. So I think we must have put ours in 4 before we did 3, but really it's numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you have 4 clean tracks to cut on when you have this trimmer blade mat here. So if you ever feel like you are needing a little bit of a cleaner cut, that is going to help immensely. So you'll notice even as I am doing this, how clean that slice is now that I just switched it. It's awesome. So for each of these tracks, we say that it has like so many number of cuts, but it is really hard to quantify how many times you're slicing. And so the way I do it is I just kind of eyeball it and see, like on this, you can really see that the dashes are starting to disappear. And that really shows me that this is getting some overuse and it was ready to switch. So we have these with the nice clean cuts. And so we are good for our pieces. I'm gonna get this lined up on my double-sided cutting mat. Every once in a while, I like to do a little, a little repositionable tape on the back and get it nice and centered so that it doesn't move. And so I like to do that sometimes. And that's great, like if you're not using the layout studio or anything where it's keeping your layout in place, but it's gonna look a little something like this. So we're gonna have these little pieces up here and here. And then we will have our borders here kind of at the top and bottoms here. So that's gonna look great. And I'm gonna get started adhering these pieces down. I'm gonna do this side first. And this is a pretty big one. it a little. And I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna go with starting it at the 3. I think that's a good mark for us. Nice and centered. So if you're looking for that centered look, that is how you will achieve that. I think that our album kit guidebook has it a little bit lower, but I love a nice centered, middle grounded page. So I'm gonna get this one lined up to the 3 as well, so they match perfectly when they're laid out next to each other in your album. And then we are gonna get our little pieces here adhered. Oops. I'm gonna do one right over the number. Okay. So we have these lining up right here. And now whenever I have something that's lined up all the way to the edge where I have a few pieces lined up, sometimes I like to put it through my trimmer and just make sure it's all perfectly straight. I'll do that at the end since I have this adhered here. But that's a good way to get like that nice clean edge. So I'll like flip it over and run it all the way through my trimmer at the end. That way, if any is like a little bit off the edge on one of the pieces, it all ends up being nice and perfectly clean. Okay, so we have our paper down, and I'm gonna go ahead and get our stickers down next. And again, this is so easy peasy. So this has like this nice, really tiny little scallop, and what I'm doing is just layering it so the line on here, it'll be a little different for everyone, but is right up to the edge of this. And I think I will try and I'm gonna make sure that it's started from the side, because what I can always do is finish this, but I can't really finish this. So I could run this through my trimmer and make it all nice, but I won't be able to do it on that side. Okay. So I want to make sure it looks perfect on that side. Okay, so we got the same thing here. And our last sticker right up here. Okay, so I'm gonna really quick show you guys what I mean about cleaning up that edge. I still have a little, so I'm gonna run it through just barely past and get that edge a little bit cleaned up. Make sure, I'm gonna do it on this side too. That just makes sure that the sticker and the papers are perfectly lined up, and it really barely takes off any paper. We're still like square up into 12 because, you know, when paper is produced, it's all in a like large format. So not everything is perfectly 12 by 12. It can be up to like a tiny bit off. So now I got that. And that looks great. And now all of our stickers line up really nicely. Okay. So we're done with this. And what I want to do next is work on my photos. So I'm going to make sure that this is in place. And I am excited about this page because it's kind of a fun one where it's all about our like close-ups and fun dress details, which, you know, that's what it's all about. Just kidding. Okay, so this is how I have it laid out. I'm gonna start this way. And that looks nice. Okay. So I feel like this layout is one of the easier ones of the album kit, and it turns out so stunning, and it has a lot of fun room for journaling. And I just think it does a great job at kind of focusing on the photo moments, which is really what scrapbooking is all about. It's such an art form, but its primary reason for us starting to do this was for the photos. And I think it just makes the photos really pop out. So we're gonna get our embellishments over here, and we have some over here and this, and then we have this one right here. And I have my foam squares here, so we're gonna do a little bit of that. I'll do this first. And I think I'm gonna have it at an angle, so it's kind of covering a little angle of the photos, and then do a foam square on the little wax seal, just to give a little extra dimension. Put that right there. And then when we work on this one over here, we have a few different layers going on. So I'm gonna have this one first. And I would like it to cover a little bit of that photo. And then I'm gonna have this layered over top, and then of course this. And so I think what I will do is have this flat with tape runner, and I will put some foam squares on this one. So we can get that pop up on this side as well. And then we have our completed page. So this one was pretty quick to do, which is always nice. And I think this looks fantastic, and I'm excited about this one. So I'm gonna pull it off. And if you do the repositionable tape method, I always like to rub it off right before, otherwise I might stack it on something else without realizing it. So I get that off first. And then get that out of the way. And so we have this one done. And now we are going to work on layout 13. Layout 13 is a fun one for me as well, because I am having this layout be all about my wonderful bridesmaids and my husband's wonderful groomsmen that were so important to us, to be there by our side. So we're going to start with our 2 base pages. We have our left and our right. We have our cut apart page, and we are going to start cutting. And you'll see on this one, we have 2 more tags. And as I am cutting, I'm realizing that I do not have my scissors on hand, and I do not have my hole punch on hand. And so I'm going to show you how I am going to still use these 2 pieces, just easily as little photo mats. I will probably take off this with my trimmer and still try and use them as tags, and maybe find a small punch to do the hole. So we'll see what I do here. We're just kind of gonna make it up as we go. So we have this one and this one. So here's our mat, gonna just get that brown off there. Mat, and two more. And then once I get this one done, we are gonna work on our tags. Gonna just get this little edge off. Okay, so what normally I would do is I would grab a scissors and just cut those off. But what you can also do is just line them up with your trimmer and slice right there. Do the same thing here. And here we have that. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. So line it up with the dashes on the trimmer mat here. And I got that. And now, since I do not have a hole punch, I'm going to find a punch of some sorts. Or we will find a hole punch, which I have found. I have also tried this with the Key to My Heart punch. It's a little bit bigger than this, but it ends up looking really nice. But here I am with the found hole punch. It was just hiding from me. And there we have it. We have a couple of these edges. They're 2 different colors. We'll see if we want to use them. I feel like over the course of this, I've gotten less and less eco-friendly with my little scraps, but This will live over here. And we have photo mat here and here. And we have one here and here and here and here. And I kind of like when they feel a little bit more mixed up. So I like the way this sits. But I might want it to go off the page a little bit more. And then I might actually flip these around just because I think that might look nice. And then I feel like it's really more patterned. And then what I could do is I could use these little corners in various places. So maybe here and here, maybe all on the little outsides. Oops. Yes. Okay, so it's kind of fun. And we have all of our photos right here. And I have so many photos that I didn't really know how to handle it. So I am going to show you what my little hack is when I have too many photos for a page. But first, let's get everything adhered down, and then I will add my photos and I will show you my favorite hack for when I have too many photos. So just a little tape runner on the corner. Get that nice and straight. I was so excited this weekend. I got to meet someone who has been tuning in, and that was so much fun. I love doing this album with you guys. It's kept me very much on track, and it's been fun trying to find different ways to make this perfect for me and help you guys do the same. I've shared some, fun ideas for when you don't want to crop a photo down, or even you have too many photos. We've used cascading spacers, which are coming back soon. And this hack that I'll share today is probably the easiest thing you could do to get more photos in. So it's a good one. Okay, so I got my last tag. Have it kind of off the page. I like how that looks. Then I'm going to work my photos in here. So I have one of my bridesmaids and I walking. This is my maid of honor. And then here's just some of my bridesmaids laughing. And then we have my husband's best man, him walking showing off his cool suit, like I kind of got to show off my dress in the other page. And then just some fun. This one's a fun page. So I'll get these down. And I do think I might need to shorten these to a little bit, but I think it could work. It just depends. I like when things are kind of perfectly centered on its mat. And so when it has that tag at the top, I want to make sure it lines up really nicely. So we have a lot of these 4x4 mats on this page, which I think those are so easy to work with because you have so many photos, because you can really use your landscape or vertical and just crop them down. Okay, so we have that page. Here we have that one. And so like I said, I think I might just crop these down slightly. Start with an 1/8 and see how I like it. I'd like it to be even more. And I think that is better. And I'm gonna have it go under this piece. So it'll be like that. And then I'll see how much I can get off this because their heads, I don't want them to be cropped off. So I'll do a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom. And that looks a lot more centered to me. I'm sure many of you will say, looks centered before, but I think that works. And here we go. Okay, so I'm going to put on a couple of these little corners. And of course, oh, here, I was going to say I almost lost the other one. Try to get this nice and straight. There we go. And that's nice and straight. And I have lost, oh no, it's right here. And the last one. Do that right at the top corner. And that's kind of a fun way to use those. And now we have our embellishments. So again, on our album kit guidebook, it shows the placement. Now, if you want your embellishments to go somewhere else, you can always do that. I do have to put my stickers on as well. My border stickers are ready to go. And we're gonna do that right at the 1.5 inch mark. And go. And do the other one. Get those down. Okay, much better. So I have the fun hearts over here. And honestly, that looks, oh wait, that goes over here. This will go right here. And this, we are adorable together. Me and my maid of honor. I am actually going to change it. So instead of it saying adorable together, I'm going to put this maybe up here or on the side because, yeah, I think that would actually be really cute because I feel like that kind of fits. Okay, so we're going to put this down. And I sometimes like to have these peek behind and like come out. So I'm gonna do it this way. And then have that right there with some foam squares. And I'll be able to get these little, the smallest size on here pretty easily. It's just all about making sure they're nice and centered so they don't kind of come off the sides when you're looking straight across or straight at them. But we usually don't have too many embellishments that are too small for the small foam squares. So that looks great. I'm going to have these taped down. And I'll probably write something like these are all his best friends. So maybe write something like besties, or let's see here. They were all roommates too. Okay. I do love the brown micro tip pen. I think it looks so nice with this. Okay, and then I want to do some foam squares on this. So we're going to do the little tiny ones. Get it nice and centered right there. And I'm going to do 3 of them so we don't have any embellishment collapse. And I'm gonna go right down the side. That looks wonderful. Okay, so now we have another set of pages. And like I said, I had way too many photos of my bridesmaids and our groomsmen. So what I did is I took all of the individual photos of us and I put them in these cascading photo sleeves. So this will go in my album just like this with the 2 pages in between. And we'll see all my beautiful bridesmaids on this side. We'll see some here, flip, see some more. We'll see Alan's wonderful groomsmen, flip, see them all here, and then see them here. And I think this will be such a great way to make sure I am getting all of these one-on-one photos of me and my bridesmaids, and then my husband and his groomsmen. And I'll be able to add that right in the middle. It doesn't change the layouts at all. It just is an awesome way to get your extra photos in. So these actually come in an assortment pack where you can get I believe it's one more tier before the full page. And so you can get the 3 here, the 4 here, and then we have one with 6 where it's a few of each here in different sizes. So, and then we also have the 5 pocket as well that takes up the full page. And those are they come separately, but you can get an assortment pack with these ones. So this I think will look great in my album, and I'm so excited to get in there. So I will see you guys 2 weeks from today. We're gonna work on, I think if this was 12 and 13, we are on the last 2 pages next time. So we're going to be on 14 and 15, and that will make our full album. So we're so close. We are going to get that album complete in just a couple weeks here. So I'll see you there. Bye guys.